Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Wednesday, the 27th of August, run in association with KUMB.com. Now, today we take a look into Bowen's apology and the situation that unfolded, a goalkeeper update, and a potential approach from Spurs that could be coming our way. While that intro runs, hit the thumbs up button, head to the comments to see what everyone is saying, and I'm going to be back a little bit later today to respond to your comments. Let's go. Network for your first story today. Bowen has apologised after his frustrated outburst following our defeat to Wolves. So as the full-time whistle blew last night, the game ended 3-2 to Wolves. Tensions bubbled over when Bowen went over to applaud fans, and it appears someone said something that riled him up because he went from clapping to pretty much needing to be dragged away. So seeing the captain being held back by teammates following an argument with a fan and then taking his captain's armband off in the way that he did really felt like it summed up the loss of direction and the frustration that we're seeing from absolutely every single angle at the moment. But he went on to X to apologise almost immediately, to be fair, saying, "Apologies to the fans for tonight's reaction. I'm someone who's passionate and will fight every time I step on the pitch, but I need to set a better example, and you fans know how much I love you and this club. We ride through the bad times together, and I'll see you all on Sunday," before signing off with an irons and heart emoji. There's no denying the tensions are really high at the moment. I was at the game on Friday night, and while Bowen didn't manage to do much, he ran until the very end. He never stopped trying to win corners and chasing down. And regardless of whether or not he is the most charismatic captain or what we feel like we need to drag us through this horrible patch at the moment, he does usually lead by example. And so many of the points that we're frustrated about as fans are not Bowen's fault. And unfortunately, we're now seeing these poor results, and naturally disappointed fans and players spill out into these fiery exchanges. And I'm definitely keen to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know what you reckon down below in the comments. But personally, it's just making me so sad that there's so much anger and frustration being thrown around. And unfortunately, I think that aiming it at Bowen isn't going to help anyone's cause. Obviously, I don't condone giving the players abuse at all, but it's really strange to see the position that we find ourselves in. We've got angry fans, an extremely frustrated captain, and a lot of work needing doing to be able to repair the damage that's been caused just 3 games in. Mad times at West Ham, but I'm glad Bowen came out with the apology, but also it felt very harsh for someone to be laying into him when you could already see that he was visibly pretty gutted about the result. I don't think the responsibility lies solely on him, and he's just stepping up to be the captain, and it is a very difficult time as a club for fans and for players. So I feel like we almost need to group together in a way, but naturally there are frustrations. Fans are angry after games, but I'm sure Bowen also was, by the ease of which he snapped, because he's usually very calm, cool and collected. So that's your update number 1. Now, for your second story, according to TalkSport, we are back in for John Victor, the Botafogo goalkeeper. Alex Crook has said that we've reignited our interest in the player with a fee of €10 million previously agreed before we chose to go with Hermansen. Apparently, talks are now centred around a loan with an option to buy at the end of the season. And another name that is being floated around in the goalkeeper rumour camp is no other than Onana. So Graham Bailey of TBR Football has said that he wasn't happy not being involved against Fulham and is considering his options. He pretty much hasn't started for United in either of their games, and he seems frustrated by this. And United are now reported to have held talks with a number of clubs, one of which is West Ham. Realistically, I can't see us signing another keeper, especially on a permanent, regardless of the life that has the start to life for Hermansen at West Ham, especially given that he's the player that the head coach wanted, Hermansen, and we've spent a lot of money in that department, and we haven't got the budget to solely focus on goalkeepers. We've got so many other areas of the pitch that we need to fix things. You can argue that perhaps we could have stopped a couple of shots, but when you look at our attack, midfield and defence all needing strengthening and a number of days now until the window closes, it feels like we can't put all of our money and efforts into the goalkeeper situation when there's a glaringly obvious problem everywhere else. And for your final story, according to Fabrizio Romano, Spurs are interested in Lucas Paqueta and are hoping that they could make a deal happen. The Daily Mail are also reporting that Spurs aren't the only one showing interest, with Villa also considering making a move for our midfielder. Now, even if they came in with a £60 million bid, I would really like to think that we wouldn't accept that, given that he currently looks like one of our better players and one of our very few creative players. He scored 2 and 2. He's established. We know somewhat what to expect from him. It would be a risk getting rid of him and bringing somebody else in to replace him. So even if we hang on to him for another window, I feel like it would be a lot better. Please, can we not get rid of him at this moment in time? Surely at a time like this, where we are really running out of time to bring in replacements and struggling to bring in the players that we already need, we wouldn't go and empty our midfield out further by getting rid of someone who is likely to be in our starting 11 for the rest of the season. Surely, please. But previously, we just said we couldn't see a move with Spurs happening. But as we've seen, that's clearly not off the table. My hope is that we can just keep Lucas Paqueta, given that we're seeing him improve again, and we simply can't bring in this many new players with such little time left of the window. We don't have the time, the money, the resources. We need to focus our efforts right now on what we need to improve. And if you were to ask me who's in my starting 11, Paqueta is firmly in there. So we need to work out who we don't want in our starting 11 and find replacements or backups for them. Get rid of the players that we're definitely not going to be using. But we can't be doing more of a clear out, surely, this late in the window, because what are you going to do with 60 million? Like, there's only so much you can actually do when you haven't got time to bring anyone else in. And ultimately, that would be a move that would just weaken us. So please, can we not? So there you have it. Those have been your Hammers headlines for today. Here's your cheeky reminder that if you're not already signed up to our Fantasy Football League, it's easy to sign up. Download the app or go online. You then make yourself a team. Once you've got a team, join a league. There's the code YOC74W. You join that and you will be in the West Ham Network League. And every single month we are picking the best manager of the month, and there will be prizes every single month for that manager. We'll be announcing on our community page the winner each month. So please go and join that, because it's always good fun. Even if you know nothing about football, even if you just want to pick random players, you never know who's going to do well each week. And it's a chance for free. It doesn't cost you anything to join, to just have a little bit of competition with West Ham fans. And like I said, have a chance to win. So there you go. Those are your Hammers headlines for today. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the video from earlier today where we were chatting about all things Songutu Magasa, and it was kind of exciting. A little glimmer of hope, a little bit of good news in a very rough time for West Ham fans. But we're here for the highs, we're here for the lows, we're here for the rants. And if you need a counselling session down below in the comments, I'm going to be back later to reply to everything that you're all saying. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, and until next time, thank you so much as always for watching. Have a great day. Come on, you Irons. Irons.